Hello class, this is your instructor Pranati Anamala, and this recording is for chapter 3 from our textbook Data Mining for the Masses. And I'll do a little demo of chapter 3, but before that, I think here's a link or here's where you would need to download the data. You can actually use any data that you want, but this is suggested. So just using this link is provided on Canvas. So download chapter 3 data. I'm not going to click on this right now because I've already downloaded it, and then I'll just show you the import process. So let me switch back to RapidMiner. And then here you can see that it's a repository panel on the left, and below that you will see operators on your left. And then you have parameters panel on the right. If this Outlook changes in any way, I would suggest go to views and then click on show panels, and then you can see the different panels. If you accidentally close it or remove it, you can add it back here. And restore default view is something that will help you if it's distorted or you move things too much around. And then the process here that you see, this one is called, I call it the process canvas. So this is where you will be dropping data and also operators and changing their parameters and working with the whole data mining process. And up here this is your design view. And then once we have some results like this, I've imported data, so that's why these are here, but I can always close it. Yeah, Turbo Prep. I think this is version only available if you subscribe or buy a premium version. But I'm currently running my software at a free version, so I only have design and results. So first step, so I'll click on import data and then click on my computer because I downloaded the files. This is there in my download. So go to locate your file, and then you'll come back. Let me see if I can add it again to show you the process. Let me go to downloads. It's not available. Let's go down here. Yeah, chapter 3 data. Next, and if you yeah, you can see that it has automatically identified it as a comma separated file, and the first row is a header. So you could see all these checked already. So I'm just going to click on next. And then in the next step, you would see that it has already identified some of the data types, like birth year to be an integer, and everywhere numbers, and it's an integer. But I want you to notice that whenever there's text, it's named polynomial. It's important to notice this because eventually you would have to change this to text, but you can't do it at this step. But the only thing you can change here is to binomial, real, or date and time, but we're not going to worry about this at this point. So I'm just going to click on next, and then I suggest that you put it in your local repository. If I put it here, it's going to ask me that it already exists, but let me see if it gives me that error. Oh, there you go. It's asking me if I want to override. Sure, I will say okay. There you go. I've got the importing the data set onto my results page. So let me go back to the design view. I will drag and, well, before I do that, I've right-clicked on the data, and then I'll click on edit. Pull this a little up so I can see clearly. And you can see that the gender is supposed to be text because it's just male and female, M and F. So I will right-click on it and click on modify attribute. And then in the attribute type, I will go and select text and say apply. I will do the same for the race. Click on text and apply and save it. And then I'll close it. Now I'm ready to drag and drop it here. So you might notice the yellow triangle as well. This is an indication that your file is local to your machine and you can't export your process with the file because it's local to your machine. Don't worry about it. Because if the way I run your files is I will take your process and replace the data file from my machine. So your process will still run if you get this error. Right, so we noticed in the results that there's some question marks here, so that's an indication of the missing values. The empty cells have been replaced with question marks, so we need to address these. So for that, let me quickly go and select type here in the operator section, type missing, and then you could see the operator missing values here. Drag and drop it here and connect your data to the operator. So I'm not gonna filter all of them, but I will try to select just the few, because I want to replace the Y empty cells with the no. So the questions that they have answered. Read news and Twitter, I think Facebook. I believe eventually I have to change them to text as well, but let me do this first. And then my default value would be a no, since I have handpicked replace values to this. And then connected to results. So the RES stands for results and the input. The first stage, you don't have to do it. In the next process documents, we'll talk about that later, but then that's when you will have to use that pin as well. So the plus, the blue icon for blue triangle is for running the process. So if you notice here, it sort of replaced the question marks with the ends. No more question marks that I see, but I can see them in other social media. So let me see if I can add another one here. And then I'm going to do only a single attribute where I will select other social media and then put the value as not applicable. Let's see if that works. You can also rename these operators by, I think here, I'll do replace social media. There we go. Let's try to run this. See if it has done anything. Oops. Oh, over here. Sorry. It's moved it to the front. So there we go. So it has not changed any of my these values, survey values from here, but other social media. Great. So far it looks good. Where there's supposed to be words there. Words, and only in the column Twitter you would see that the yes and no's there's a numerical value which is 99, which is inconsistent. So this is also part of data scrubbing, where we're trying to make our data consistent before we actually process it for insights. All right, so for that, I think I'm going to do, you can either replace missing values or let me see if I can find another thing to be more consistent here. Let's see. Filter. Remove duplicates. So another counting part is removing duplicates like we have done in Excel. You can remove, just could put it as a placeholder just to see if it removes or not, and just to check if there are any duplicates in your data. So let me connect the output to filter examples. Let me see, add filters. Was it social media? I think it was Twitter. Does not contain. Oh, there we go. So I'm using another operator called filter examples. So my intention for this step is to make sure that Twitter doesn't contain the row which is like 99, or yeah, I just want responses on the yes and no. So I'm trying to create a condition here. So match all, and then Twitter does not contain 99. I would say okay. Let me see what result does it give me. So custom filters. All right, there we go. All right, so from 11, I think I had 11 rows. From there, I went to 10, and then it shows me that it's taken away that particular row that has a inconsistent response. I think this works. If you want to take away the full row, you can do that, as long as it's not necessary or it's very important to take away the whole row. I would do it in certain cases because I'm working on a survey where the participants, if they have not answered a question, or if they've left it blank, I don't have the liberty to change any values on it because it's that person's survey response. So when in such cases, I think when you don't have, you can't enter any data, you could take away that, row. Or if it's valid enough to say that, okay, there's only yes or no response and they have not given response, so it's a no. With some situations you can take that liberty. So I've shown you two cases where you can actually replace missing values when you actually know that there are only two possibilities. You could definitely do that. Or if you think that, like even in social media, I didn't know what to put, so I just put not applicable. So in filter examples, I've taken away one particular row which had inconsistent data for one attribute value. There we go. So we've done, so far, let me go recap. So far we have done importing data sheet. We've done handling missing data, handling inconsistencies, and we've created a filter. And then the last thing we want to do here is attribute reduction. So I'm going to do select attributes. So attribute reduction is just as the word explains itself, like reduction is trying to reduce the number of attributes that you have, so you can be more specific in your analysis. So initially, let me go back to results and see. You can see that there are a lot of columns here. Other social media, read news, online shopping, online gaming, Facebook, Twitter, gender, race, birth year, and in all these. So if I'm trying to do, I want to see only the demographics of my participants from the survey. So I'm going to go to design, click on filter examples to select attributes. So all of that data has been loaded into here. So remember that this is your clean data. So let me see, you can also do fun stuff like this, say add note, or probably you could do it like this, or text alignment, no color, change order, send to back. Can I do that? Oh, I probably can't, so I can't do that. But I can just put a comma here, edit note, and say data cleaning. Oops. So you can create some notes right in your RapidMiner canvas right there. Back to my data attribute reduction. So I'm going to go select the subset. select attributes, I'm only going to see what is the birth year, gender, marital status, and race, and whether they read news or not. Let's see. And then years of internet, and whether to read news or not. There you go. I don't know if I can actually reorder this, but this is enough. So EXA is the exact output that you would want from here, or RI is for your original data. So this is EXA is short for example set. So maybe sometimes it can throw you errors of like example set was not found. Don't worry, it's just a difference in connections since something is wrong. All right, success. So I only wanted whether they read the news or not, the gender, the race, and birth year, and if they're married, divorced, single, and years on internet. There we go. So we've got our data ready actually. So the next step would be the data. What do we want to do with the data? So whether we want, so like we did in the Excel assignments, based on the questions you have about the data, to the extent of which insights can be found from it. That's what we're going to do with this as well. But I think the following chapters, like chapter 4 and 5, will talk more about. Chapter 4 will talk about correlation, and 5 will talk about association. So that will follow next. But then, if you've come this far, you're doing great. You're doing awesome. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions and if there's process anything that I left out or if it's too fast. All right, thank you.